You're recording.
Hi guys, Dr. Meggs here. So I got asked some very interesting questions today. The first was, I got asked by a patient, why should we check my genome? Why should we check my genetics at all? I mean, I've got whatever it is that I've got. Why should we even check? What does it matter? And my answer is this. Your DNA is not your destiny. What that means is that DNA is not really deterministic. If you have a gene for something, let's say a suboptimal enzyme for a metabolic process. So if you have a gene for something, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a faulty process. That gene may or may not be expressed. And so just because you have the gene or just because you have a variant of the gene doesn't mean you'll have the process that that gene encodes for. What does that mean? It means that there's actionable information there. If you have a particular gene variant that predisposes for some phenomena and you don't want to express that phenomena, you can change your lifestyle, or you can take a supplement, or you can do some other modifications in your behavior so that that gene never gets expressed. So I'm going to give you an example of a gene that I know I have, and I'm taking steps to make sure that I never express that gene. I have a gene called APOE4. APOE4. That gene is associated with Alzheimer's disease. That doesn't mean the gene causes Alzheimer's disease. It's not deterministic. What it means is that that gene encodes for an abnormal fat metabolism process in my brain. My brain doesn't have the very best enzyme for dealing with fats within it. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, now that I know that, I can do some things to make sure I do not express that gene. Well, what are some of those things? I eat a lot of extra virgin olive oil. I eat things that are called resolvins. That's omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. I exercise. I sleep well. And if I don't sleep, I make an attempt to catch up. I eat a plant-based diet. I do a whole bunch of things so that I know that I know that I have a gene that says, oh, I don't handle fats particularly well within my brain. I don't transport them well. So I'm going to do some other things to overcome that. Where am I going with all of this? You do want to know your genome. You do want to know what genetic variants you have so that you can change your behaviors and either express a not express a suboptimal gene, or you can express a gene that is optimal. So I'm going to give you just another example. A friend of mine has a copy number variation of a gene called clock. What that means is that because he has a large number of this clock gene, he doesn't need to sleep very much. Well, he can adjust his lifestyle accordingly. Where you or I need probably 8 hours sleep, he may need only 6. And so for someone like that, he might say, hey, I want to work a swing shift, or I want to work a night shift because I just don't need very much sleep. And I can tailor my lifestyle to my genetic code. Bottom line, knowledge is power. Information is actionable. And if you find out what your genome provided you with in terms of natural resources, you can then use those natural resources to their optimal outcome. So the question was, why do I even want to know my genome? I don't think I want to know. The thinking was, it's deterministic. If I know my genome, that just means I'm going to have a problem. It doesn't. It means that you have the risk factor for a problem. Or maybe it means that you have the optimal variant for a particular behavioral trait. Well, then you want to maximize that. You do want to know your genome because it provides with actionable information. And the most common use of that actionable information is via dietary supplements, making sure that you have the particular nutrients that your body needs to function at its best. So that's my answer. Get your genome checked. The very best place to do that is with a company called MyGevity. Find out what your genome has to say about you as an individual, and then tailor your lifestyle to make sure that you have optimal metabolic function.